So now we're doing the Cowboys storylines here. Come on, eat me out. Give me some good stuff.
What you got?
The Cowboys are certainly not where they expected to be after 7 games. At 3-4, things are getting chippy for the Cowboys as tensions are high after yet another demoralizing loss to the 49ers, who have now won 4 straight games in this series. Yeah, Cowboys need a win against the
3
Niners.
at Levi Stadium. 3 in a row at Levi Stadium.
Come to AT&T, bitches. We're waiting for you.
The last 3 games the Niners and the Cowboys have played have been at Levi's, and yeah, they've all been heartbreakers.
The Cowboys started the third quarter with the lead, but were outscored 21, and it was too big of a deficit to recover from. So
I don't really get. Is he just kind of?
It's kind of shitting. But I think the point is
the 21-1, like the
we were talking about it. Yeah, the Cowboys lost the game against the 49ers because they fell apart in the third. Had they kept them to had they kept them to 1 3-point and scored 3 points themselves, we would have had a different fourth quarter, absolutely. Or had they just stopped them and scored on one of their drives in the third, Cowboys would have won that game. So, but look, you could go back to every single game in history and play this game.
Yep.
Fact of the matter
honestly, you can.
You cannot come out, and against the Falcons, we could definitely see the same thing. I could see the Cowboys going, scoring 10, keeping them to 6, even though it seemed more frustrating when we looked at the end of the second going into halftime. It was like, man, we are up by we're winning 10-6.
Yeah.
We've kept them only to 3 field goals. The defense was bending, not breaking.
It
right?
switched so fast,
and then it just fell apart. So,
and that goes to the points. Like the Cowboys have yet provided a game where they've gotten ahead by multiple scores.
And then just that on its own.
Get up by 14, man. I wonder, like, get up by 14.
And then let's go and move down and let Aubrey kick. Sure.
Yeah, then you can kick, and now you can play the defense. You don't got to worry about the run as much. But yeah, you have a 21-0 quarter in any game, and it's going to be very hard to win.
First, second, third, or fourth quarter, that's
doesn't matter when.
Probably
if you give up 21 points and score 0 in a quarter,
yeah,
that's hard. Like that's hard to overcome.
Yeah, that's like
just it's a flurry of points. And you're just not counter punching with anything.
That's like I don't think they still do this in Madden, but remember when they used to bring up like situations and you'd go in and be like, all right, you're down by 3 and you have the fourth quarter left and you'd have to go back and
that was that situation.
It's fun. It's fun to play in a video game. It's horrible to watch.
I'm telling you, I'm playing online Madden and I lose, or I'm in 10-6 going into the second quarter, and I leave the second quarter being down 27.
Yeah.
10. I'm quitting. I'm rage quitting. 100%.
Actually, I'm not. You know what? I'm not even rage quitting. I'm probably laughing at that point.
I'm laughing and I'm like just now playing annoyingly and letting the time run down and take timeouts and getting purpose.
Doing anything I can to make him try to rage quit or her.
Yeah.
All right, here we go. Second point. Second storyline. Come on, Nick. Give us a good one, baby.
And this is kind of plagued the Cowboys for a little bit. Injuries have been a major issue for the Cowboys, especially on defense. The loss of Micah Parsons now for 3 games and perhaps another this week in Atlanta has been felt throughout the entire defense. Parsons has just 1 sack this year and has been out since a high ankle sprain against the Giants, which happened on September 26th.
Was that week 3? Week 3,
Week 3, yep. And then that same game, DeMarcus Lawrence has also been on IR with a foot injury after the same game. And Deron Bland foot has missed all of the season so far because he was hurt in training camp. And all 3 of those guys were on the Pro Bowl. 2 of them were all pros.
You got to think that
does
brings
matter.
Context. That brings context.
You basically have 3 90s. You have 3 90 ranked players not on your. I mean, D-Law might not be a 90, but he's fringe. He's a fringe 90 player. He's an A player in my mind. Like if we're doing tiers,
he's an upgrade
to what we have
to many teams.
Because right now, say D-Law's there and Micah's out, well now you have D-Law and Golston. Golston's been holding his own. Now you have D-Law to help on that instead of fucking whatever bum was dehydrated P on the PFF grade.
Yeah,
so the injuries do have credence, and I don't care what anyone says. That's 3 of your best players that are out.
And you got to also...
all on the same side, sorry.
No, I'm just adding to that. DeMarcus Lawrence, let's say he was in and wasn't out with that foot injury. Is he out for the season?
No. D-Law isn't. That's why they put him on IR.
Okay,
IR, that's the 4 games.
Okay, so
and then you can reevaluate.
Okay, so because
Nyland's probably out for season.
Right, and this is where that's where I was going is, let's say Parsons was out, but Lawrence was still in. Now you're pairing Lawrence with Nyland or Lawrence with Williams, both guys who got injured early in the season.
It's pretty crazy.
Man, I would have loved, and we're not going to get to see it, and it's a really shitty for Williams, I think. Nyland, of
This
course,
was his
that
year.
sucks.
So Sammy Dubb, who's suspended right now, that we haven't really touched on because he's hurt, so it's kind of irrelevant. This would have been his time to shine.
And he would have had a really good opportunity. We would have definitely seen who he was as a player.
Yeah, you would have been getting 80 to 85% of the snaps.
So it's fair to bring this all into context, but here's the problem is most of the gripes in Cowboys Nation hasn't necessarily been the defense. We know we suck at run defense. That's nothing new. That's 3 years running. But we are still able to go 12-5 with an offense that could score points. The previous 2 seasons when I think rushing really became a problem. I know we've gone 12-5 3 years in a row. And people might argue that it could be 3 years, but I'm, not confident in that statement. But it's not been the defense that has been frustrating, I don't think.
It's been the offense.
It's been the offense. So
offense not being able to counter after, okay, we know who the defense is, okay?
Yeah.
Let's just take into example the San Francisco 49ers game. Sure, the defense gave up 21 points in the third quarter. Yeah, it sucked. But then the defense held them in the fourth.
Yeah.
The Cowboys came back within 6. The defense
had a drive.
The defense went out and held the Niners to a 3-and-out to get the ball back to the offense. Who gives a shit what the defense did the rest of the game?
Yeah.
They got you the ball back with 2.5 minutes left and 3 timeouts. That right there, I don't care if your team is still in it with 2 minutes left in the fourth quarter and the defense comes out and makes a critical stop for you. Then that is on the offense, 100%.
And I do want to move on from this point, but just you got me thinking, okay, what would be the equivalent, real quick here, if we were to remove those players, their equivalent from the offense, and then how do you think the offense
it'd be terrible.
You know what I mean?
It'd be so bad.
Let's say let's say Tyler Smith's out.
Tyler Smith and then CeeDee Lamb
and Steele.
Yeah, you're getting bad. Sure, Steele's not great, but you're still getting smacked out.
Steele's not great, but
you have you don't have a way to switch it around.
Maybe we find a fucking a gold nugget that's just been sitting in the locker room.
Before you read this, I just want to say Wally has a good point. Here's the thing: injuries are injuries. Teams deal with it every year. Ironically, this year is the most in years on good teams in general. But the Cowboys were full strength against the Saints, and we lost, which is true. Not only lost. But got spanked around and smacked around
by a team who hasn't won since that.
And you had Micah Parsons, you still had D-Law, you didn't have Deron Bland, but you had Nyland, so you still had a team.
Yes, and in fairness, we have not seen Deron Bland, Trevon Diggs combo. So in my opinion, people might argue differently, and I'd 100% be willing to listen because I don't know, but the big factor that both those players brought to the field have been their ability to create turnovers with interceptions. So, I want to see them both on the field, but I feel we still got, with Diggs coming back, we still got that potential, and he's not really come to play.
Does he have I think maybe one interception this year?
I think he's got maybe
I think
one.
He has one, and I think it might have been against the Browns, actually. Was it against the Browns?
Yeah. Was against
so week 1,
Anthony.
Yeah, he had an interception against the Browns.
Oh, and real quick on that Diggs too, I did see because here's the this is a little kind of side story here on the side quest. So Diggs had that fallout last week, or he came out of the locker room literally and called out the reporter who kind of was asking, "Hey, what are you doing on this play?" And he said, "Hey." He told him to, use the D's nuts comments. Fair question by the reporter, and they had a little bit of a head-to-head. Diggs did not look very good coming out of the locker room after the loss to the 49ers and kind of getting into it.
Worried about that.
Today, though, the two made amends.
Reconciled.
Reconciled. Diggs actually explained, hey, I was actually trying to pace for a cutback, And I can see that now watching the play. Because I wasn't really upset with it. I just was more upset with how Diggs reacted to
his reaction to it. Like,
I was like, on the play, I didn't see it, but Diggs explained, like, look, if Hooker keeps going to cut him off basically on the sideline, and I'm just kind of pacing to see if he does do a cutback.
Yeah.
Because at some point that becomes the most logical move. And if Kittle does that, he's the guy who he can do that.
Yeah.
The big ass body motherfucker. But then after he gave the reporter some nuts.
I saw that D's nuts.
To me, that was the way that you come back to a scenario.
You have to handle
put a little comedy on it.
Yeah.
Make amends, and now we can move on. The way that Jerry Jones handled his 105 fiasco,
Like it wasn't a problem.
and then doubles down on it.
Yeah.
That's not the way to go. So we can at least say, okay, boosh, that's out of the.
Yeah,
we're done with that. And you know what, Diggs, you gain my respect because you're passionate about your game.
How many times in your life have you reacted? And then after
Every
been like,
single fucking game. Every
what I
live game we go to.
right? So it's like people react in certain situations. So
yeah. No, I'm happy he did that and we can all move on from that issue there. But now, here's our, what is it? Third for the Cowboys, and
that's you.
Oh, it is me again. Dak Prescott has thrown 2 interceptions in each of his last 3 games, and you actually brought that up, I believe, on our Monday hangover. The first time in his career.
Is Eat Me Out Eatman just watching our Monday hangover and just stealing our
and keep it up.
Keep it up.
Because guess what? We're feeding. Now we're what's the?
We're in a content loop.
Well, what's that Caterpillar movie where they're all linked to each other's
why the hell?
bowels?
I gotta think of what it's called.
Centipede.
Centipede. Human centipede.
Human centipede.
Yeah.
We're human centipeding content right now.
We're content centipeding.
Prescott had 2 costly picks, including one in the third quarter that led to a 49ers touchdown. In 7 games this year, Prescott has 8 interceptions after throwing just 9 in 17 games last year.
That puts it into some perspective. And we already said he's on pace right now. What was it, to have 19 interceptions?
Yeah.
That's not good. You can't have it. And he's come out and said he's got to take better care of the ball, but it's still like talk is cheap. You put it into your game.
Well, he's trying to make a play. I respect him, believing in himself, believing in the players he's throwing the ball to. Absolutely. At some point, throwing the ball away, I feel, has been, since I started noticing it maybe a year or 2 ago, it's just been something I always watch. And
he never does it.
And he doesn't do it.
He's got to be one of the least percentage-wise quarterbacks that throws the ball away. He just never does it.
He never does it. But
he doesn't even scratch. Like, I'm fine with not throwing the ball away if you're planning on running and picking up 4 yards.
Sure. Or just get back to the line of scrimmage.
But it's either sacked. These are his A and B, sacked or intercepted.
Yeah, and
both are terrible outcomes when you could just throw the ball away and just lose it down. Okay, let's just put it in these 3 instances. These are your 3 instances. Sack, interception, or loss of down.
Lost it down
every goddamn time.
Every day.
So, and Dak just doesn't see it that way. He sees it as, I think he's kind of open. Crack if you got him. Okay, whatever the Cowboy. You got something else you want to say to that topic there?
No, I just look. He is. I just feel he's figuring. I got to put this team on my back.
Hero ball.
We need Barry Grant Jr. to head down to Dallas, have a conversation with him, and explain.
I would love that. I would watch that interview all day, every day.
It'd be on repeat.
Whatever the Cowboys have tried at running back, nothing has worked so far. This last week, they elevated Dalvin Cook from the practice squad, and he rushed for 12 yards on 6 carries. My easy math tells me that's 2 yards per carry.
There you go.
Whether it's Ezekiel Elliott, Rico Dowdle, or even Deuce Vaughn and Hunter Lepke, the Cowboys haven't found anywhere to run. They not only ranked last in rush yards for 74.1 yards per game, which is just absolute dog shit. They only have 8 running plays of 10 yards or more, with Rico Dowdle's 13-yard run being the longest of the year. A 13-yard run by week 8, going into week 9. That's your longest gain.
Yeah.
On a running play. Oh, man. I'm telling you, Tony Pollard has a bigger run. If he's still on this squad, Tony Pollard.
He's a man.
He would already have a bigger than a 13-yard run. He would.
Go see what he's doing in with the, who is it, Titans?
Yeah, and the Titans aren't good.
Titans are good. But he's having the same consistent season.
Yeah, did Tony Pollard. We won't go to that, but yeah, Tony Pollard would be our best running back, and we were bummed out when they didn't re-sign him. And the only reason we weren't mad when they didn't re-sign Tony Pollard, we're like, well,
we're probably really drafting a guy.
Or there's some big names on the free agent block, and then they did neither.
Yeah, neither. And look, the combination. We want to see Rico Dowdle, although it's been kind of funky. It's almost like, look, the conspiracies of, because I don't know if this is the one from his sickness, but maybe it actually plays into it. Because I did hear, Zeke is a Jerry Jones man, and maybe Jerry Jones is like, get him in there. You get him in there. I don't give a how hard it is. Get him in there and make him play, which doesn't make sense to me, but. When you look at the scenario, it's like, why would you not be playing Rico Dowdle? Even with the low rushing total, he's by far the standout running back on this team. At least in getting the majority of
give him 20 carries and see what he does.
I'm not saying abandon Zeke, but give
Dowdle the one game that they kind of leaned on him, the Steelers game, sans the fumble at the end of the game.
Right.
He was playing, it was probably his best game he'd had. And then since then, they kind of went right away from him against the Lions, and then he didn't play against the San Francisco 49ers. So I don't know if there's something going on behind the scenes. We did talk about being conspiracy boys. Maybe there's a little conspiracy brewing down there about the running back by committee approach.
And either way, I mean, they have to just figure it out. They have to figure the combination out. You do have some interesting weapons, including Lepke, and now we'll see what Cook can do. I wouldn't really put too much on that last game with Cook against the 49ers. Like,
it's his first game.
First game back. Let's not blow that ship up. But you got to start giving Cook more handoffs, more ball than Elliott at this point.
Funny thing, in the last 3 drafts that I could that we've kind of followed, is Deuce Vaughn the only running back they've drafted?
Well, I think he is. If you don't include Lepke.
Yeah, he actually drafted.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
That's pretty fucked up.
Well, in fairness, too, they had Zeke and Pollard for the last 4 or 5 years. But
I mean, just even
previous to that,
even going in, Tony Pollard going into his last season in 2023, coming off a leg injury, and they didn't keep Zeke, and their replacement was Deuce Vaughn, was the guy they drafted. Well, it just makes that mind-boggling. The running game's a fucking disaster.
All right, final point here, Anth. Is this me or you?
It's you, buddy.
Okay. I got to ask every time.
I know. Sure. I got you.
What the Cowboys are missing in running the ball, they're not making up for in stopping the run. The team ranks 31st in the league, allowing 154.6 yards per game, including 223 to the 49ers, who are missing CMC and Jordan Mason. Jason Mason, sorry.
Yeah, Jason Mason.
He left the game injured. They do have that Isaac Guerrero kid. Guerendo, sorry. And he is a fantastically fast player, very smart team player.
He looked good. Is that the Cowboys' shitty defense or Guerendo doing well? But he put up some nice numbers when given the ball.
But it didn't matter as the 49ers were able to run out the clock when they needed to in the final minute. So that's the story of the game there.